All right, welcome back to the Bako Motorsports Power Hour. This is segment number 2, and now joined by Steve Hughes of Kern County Raceway Park. And the actual season for Kern County Raceway Park doesn't start until the end of the month, but arguably the biggest event in the track's history is coming up. Basically starts today, Wednesday, and things are going to be. I'm surprised you don't have your phone out. You have like a live stream of what's going on there because it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. The 2015 Winter Showdown is going to be an amazing event out at Kern County Raceway. They're parking haulers right now. They've been moving them in for about the last 15 minutes. When I left, there were roughly 40 haulers in the parking lot there getting ready to get squared away.
But I think the interesting thing here, Steve, is that the inside wall for the short track was moved 125 feet, all the K-rails up toward the big half mile to make the extended room in the pits for all these haulers.
Yeah, all the cars, all racers will be in the pits. And it was an amazing transformation that the folks from the Winter Showdown did, moving that wall, and they did it in about 4.5 hours.
Wow.
And what an amazing transition that the transformation that the track took. It really looked sharp.
It's really going to be a totally different look if you haven't been out there just to see that big half mile kind of isolated and then the pits full of haulers.
I think that's the thing, that when you have an event like this that just looks different, it just goes such a long way for your credibility, for your maturation as a company and as a business. I mean, what are your thoughts on that too?
Well, I mean, just the national exposure, first of all, with drivers coming from 12 states, 4 from Canada that arrived early Monday morning.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, first of all, we feel honored as a racetrack that the SRL team and the Winter Showdown chose our facility to hold this inaugural event. We're excited about Friday night, and Saturday is going to be great. But just showing the potential of what Kern County Raceway can be, and that's really going to highlight it this weekend.
I wanted to show that video that you sent over from the SRL event. So just imagine this is what, twice as big we're going to see Friday and Saturday?
Well, Friday night is going to be an amazing show. We're going to see the 5150 energy drink triple shot is what I'm calling it. 3 qualifying races. The first one's going to be 51 laps and then 50 and 50.
All right.
We're going to take 10 drivers out of each one of those. That is going to get our field to 30. There are 6 more spots. 2 of those are going to be provisionals, and then the 4 remaining will be decided on Saturday in the last chance race.
All right.
So those 3 races on Friday night could be some of the best racing ever seen anywhere.
Wow.
For short tracks.
It's going to be interesting to see too, because this is something that people have been talking about, that the track started to kind of change a little bit toward the end of the year. They started getting the grooves down. The racing started to improve too. What's your take on that?
Well, it's definitely a 2-groove racetrack right now. With this many cars, over 60 cars running roughly 600 laps over the weekend on the big track, we may see a 3rd groove start to develop. Now, coming out of turn number 2, things are going to get a little tight. There's no doubt about that, especially when you see, 20 cars in those qualifying races, 20 to 25 cars in each one of those races, and then 36 cars on Saturday for that feature, the Spears Manufacturing Winter Showdown 250. It's going to be a sight to see. And, just the testing yesterday, I was down at the 7-Eleven at Taft Highway in Enos Lane.
Yeah.
You can hear the cars when there's only 3 or 4 cars on the track. So imagine 36
That's incredible.
on Saturday night. It's going to be quite the sight.
Mike, we talked about this a little bit. This is a game changer, and the purse is gigantic. $125,000 is the total purse. $25,000 to win, right? I mean, so that really did a lot to attract some of these drivers.
Guys coming from as far as Florida, Georgia. We've got the 2nd and 3rd place finishers in the Snowball Derby in 2014 that are going to be competing. Dalton Sargent and our very own Derek Thorne, who finished 2nd and 3rd respectively. Those guys are going to be here. SRL legends, Southwest Tour legends, and guys from really pro late model and super late model legends from all over the country and Canada coming out. I am so excited to kick this thing off in a couple of days.
Why, what is it these guys are telling you, what they've heard about the track when they come from other parts? What was the main attraction? Was it the purse, or just the opportunity to race in good weather and in a new track?
Well, of course, the purse is a big part of it, but the competition level that they're going to see. That's where racers want to go. They want to go where the best competition is. And I think that big money is really icing on the cake. There's no doubt about that. I mean, when you make a pull from Florida or Georgia or Texas to come to Bakersfield, California, that money has a lot to do with it, and you better have your A game when you get here. But the competition level is the thing that I've heard. They want to race against the best.
And how is that sort of carried over to ticket sales or interest from the fans right now?
Oh, we're looking very good. Ticket sales are great. Friday night, I'm telling you, if you don't have a ticket for Friday night, you need to get it, because that is, I mean, it's $15 for a general admission. Right? Yeah, $25 for a reserve seat.
At 4 on?
Gates open at 4:30. We'll have our opening ceremonies at 7 o'clock. Right. But kids 10 and under are free. I mean, that's a great family night out on a Friday, and you're going to see some really, really good racing at a great value.
Absolutely.
And we're hoping to sell tickets for Saturday with that Friday night racing action.
But you guys ended on a high note, I think, last year with the King of the Wing event.
The King of the Wing event was on a Sunday. Pretty good event for a Sunday, and some pretty good racing. It was a good time to see those pavement sprint cars out there, and they do haul the mail.
Something you haven't seen in Bakersfield for a long, long time, where those 360 and 410 wing sprint cars going around that big half mile. 14.29 seconds, over 150 miles an hour going into turn number 1. The fans really enjoyed it, and we're happy to announce that Davey Hamilton will be bringing the King of the Wing back to Kern County Raceway, and will also be, Kern County Raceway Park will be the finale for the West Coast Swing, so they'll crown a champion for the West Coast, and then also it's the final race in the now 12-race tour, the national championship. The national champion will be crowned at Kern County Raceway in November.
So again, Friday the gates open at 4:30.
Yep.
Racing kind of starting at 5:30. The opening ceremony is at 7. Saturday, spectators can get there as early as 1:30. There's racing right off the bat. I think it's right as the gates open too, with some of the qualifying, and then the big event on Saturday, and that's going to be something to behold.
Yeah, it's going to be great. 36 cars taking the green flag for the Spears Manufacturing Winter Showdown 250.
Is there a favorite coming into this thing?
Well, yes.
Okay.
There's Dalton Sargent, who finished second in the Snowball Derby in 2014. Then our local guys, Derek Thorne, MK Kankey, Tim Smith, who's the 2013 Pro Late Model Champion at KCRP, and there's some other guys that are sprinkled throughout the.
You have a list.
I do.
Don't you?
I've got all 60 drivers here,
oh, wow.
and some of them are highlighted that are coming from Alberta, Canada. But yeah, I'll tell you, the 36 guys that start that race on Saturday.
Yeah,
they all have a shot to win that race.
I'm going to ask you both this question here, because you both follow it. Griff, what is the social media buzz about this event, and other media? What are they saying about this that you've been paying attention to?
In reality, I haven't watched too much.
What? Come on, now just don't be realistic. Just tell me the
reality.
truth.
But there's a buzz. I know Dalton Sargent's been doing a lot of stuff on Twitter and stuff, and nice pictures too, talking about what a beautiful facility it is, and he's had some great scenic shots with the puffy clouds in the background, so I know he's pretty hyped up about it. So you get the word out there, a lot of followers. I mean, that's a kid that's really good.
Yeah, Sargent, Doss, Pollard, all those names getting thrown around. Of course, Derek Thorne.
Pollard's coming from Georgia.
Yeah.
These guys don't come from Florida and Georgia unless they think they can win, because they've got to win to make a little money.
All right.
Absolutely.
What are you hearing? What are you hearing as far as like social media goes, and what is the buzz?
The buzz I've been hearing, everybody's saying it's Doss, Sargent, Pollard, Thorne. Those are the top 4 or 5 guys. You got to look at some of the SRL veterans, the Southwest Tour veterans, like Jim Pettit. I mean, he's won there at Bakersfield before at Kern County Raceway. And so those guys, those wily old veterans, man, are going to go heads up with that youth and exuberance this weekend.
Right. And what about our locals? Who do we have in the locals other than Derek Thorne?
Johnny White, David Mayhew, Lance Wilson, MK Kankey, and Tim Smith. I consider all those guys local. MK Kankey, of course, coming from Frazier Park. Smith being our 2013 Pro Late Model champion. Mayhew being our 2014 Pro Late Model champion.
Mayhew, because he's had more laps on that racetrack than any of these guys, probably close to a lot of these guys combined. And the same with Thorne. And Thorne's been a little snake bit in the SRL races out there. And boy, I tell you, if he could win this one, it'd make up for the close losses.
Certainly would. And there's a lot of strategy that's got to go into a 250-lap short track race.
Right.
I mean, first of all, you got to make the show. Then you got to get to that halfway point where you're able to make a couple of adjustments. Your fitness level has to be there, your concentration level, and of course, your parts have to hold up for 250 fast laps at KCRP.
Absolutely. And then you guys kind of close everything down for Sunday, and then get ready to go back into the regular season start. Was it March 28th when the
just a month later? With the K&N Pro Series West, and it is their opening race for their 2015 season. We're honored to have that. It's our opening race, and it's going to be a big event. We got a lot of big things to announce after we get finished with a great winter showdown.
All right, I got about 5 minutes left here. I have 5 questions.
5 questions.
5 questions. Now, this is what I'm looking forward to. I love these questions here.
Well, I hope they're not math questions. I'm really terrible with math.
Okay, one of the takeaways we had from our Media Days event that Griffith, where you interviewed numerous mini dwarf drivers, though, was that the Legends class seems like it's really exploding this year. Not only with the younger drivers who are transitioning from bandos or from the mini dwarfs, but there was a lot of newer racers, grown men, older guys who hadn't ever raced before. They're moving into that class before. What's going on with that class, and why does it seem like it's exploding? Is it the expense? Is it?
Well, it's a pretty dynamic division. You just kind of described why it's so popular.
Yeah.
It's for the up-and-comers, the guys that are coming out of the INEX Bandoleros that are looking for that next step between the bando and a late model.
Right.
So the younger guys can go up as young as 12 years old, as long as they have 2 years of bando experience, and some of the Legends drivers, which are the older drivers, will sign off on that driver to say, yes, even though he's 12, he's got the experience, he can handle the race car. And then you've got those guys that maybe had raced in their 20s and 30s and gotten out of it and now are wanting to get back into it at a little bit of a lower budget.
Yeah.
And it's fun and exciting. The cars handle well. I mean, those things get wound up pretty quick on that quarter mile at KCRP.
It's funny because I'll see those on MAV TV in weird places like Australian road course racing on Legends, But we interviewed 3 guys, who one guy kind of got them all in, and they kind of followed. They're all buddies, and now they're all racing Legends, and they seem to be having a great time with it too.
Well, it's economical for those guys,
Asphalt racing has kind of been where Kern County Raceway Park's been going, or has made its name for itself. But there's a lot going on at the overall facility. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, we've opened up our KCRP MX about 3.5, 4 months ago, and that's been pretty successful on that side. We're planning our first race out there in mid-April, and I'll have more to announce.
That'll be good
about that. And then construction on our dirt oval is nearly complete. We're very excited about that. Looking for some open wheel racing out there on Friday nights. So we're starting to put our schedule together there, and the Kern County Raceway Park, the park version of it, is really definitely starting to grow.
To develop. Nice. Yeah. Okay. More on that. That's going to be a developing story throughout the season.
Yes.
Okay. Here's a tough question for you. Griff, can you maybe answer this too? If you had 2 things to pick from the snack bar, what would they be?
Okay, pulled pork sandwich.
All right.
And an ice cold Coca-Cola.
There you go. Griffith, have you had any food
I'll
yet?
go for the pulled pork. I'll go get me an ice cream sandwich from the little stand underneath the stand.
Good choices.
All right, best seat in the house if you're a fan.
I'm a big fan of, a lot of people don't like this, but I like that E section in the reserved area in the grandstand. Let me tell you why. I like it just off the aisle, so towards the start-finish line, but up top in section E, you really get a good view of turns 3 and 4, and the car's really picking up speed coming out of 3 and 4. Then you just take a look to your right, and you can see them driving deep into turn number 1. So for me, section E, row 12, seat 1.
All right, very good. All right, you take a lap around the track, or several laps around the track, in what? What would you do?
I just want to get in that 3-way Chevrolet pace car and take a couple of laps first.
What is it? Is it a Corvette? Is it?
No, it's the Camaro.
Is it the
convertible
Camaro?
That's our pace car.
All right.
And I've taken it around the quarter mile very slowly, giving a tour.
Yes.
But yeah, I'd like to maybe throw Ryan Reed back into that Chevy Camaro and get him around that racetrack.
That would be fun. Yeah. All right, Griffith, your Javelin is not allowed.
No, but I'll take a new Corvette around.
Yeah.
I saw a Cadillac CTS go 128 miles an hour, by the way, down the quarter mile at Famoso.
Nice.
And by the way, they're coming up next year on the Bako Motorsports Power Hour. We're going to have Griffith will be out at Kern County Raceway Park all weekend for complete coverage of this. We'll have photos. Maybe Mike will actually shoot some video of the event.
Is he capable of that?
He is. He's really
gotten dialed in on that?
He's totally multimedia savvy.
nice.
It's amazing. So, Steve Hughes, we look forward to seeing you the rest of the season, and thanks so much for all you do and all your support, and we appreciate it very much. We'll see you next week, hopefully. All
Yes,
right.
Thank you. Thanks,
All
Mike.
right.
Appreciate it.
Coming up next after this break, Auto Club Formosa Raceway. It's March meet time. We'll be right back after these messages.